I was like rock climbing, flag football, soccer, bike riding. I liked the trampoline. That was like my favorite spot in the backyard.
Young Willie boy, I was kind of like a wild animal. I would prefer to be outside and with my friends running around and stuff.
We walked a lot together and with friends, hiking.
I cook and she eats.
Right before my 12th birthday, I just had a really bad case of pneumonia. And then from there, the ammonia cleared up, but my body just kind of shut down and I lost muscle control from the neck down. And they really weren't sure why at the time. Now they've kind of figured out that I have a condition called CIDP.
On October 23rd, 2012, I was walking home and there was a couple that was out on a rampage and they were doing a lot of bad stuff. And they shot me 3 times point blank while I was on the phone with my cousin. Once in the armpit, once in the shoulder. And the shoulder shot came through out of my neck right here. And then I was falling or I was on the floor and then the guy shot me in the head.
I had a stroke. It was in 2017, around Thanksgiving.
After about a year of treatment, I started with sharp neuro rehab, and they helped really get me standing again and moving. And then about a year of them, and I started to kind of hit that plateau.
Once it got to a certain point, they said, well, we're not seeing significant improvement. They finally said, well, we're not doing that anymore.
The last step of me being hospitalized was I was in a live-in rehabilitation facility. I was almost bedridden. I wasn't able to transfer then alone. I wasn't able to turn myself over in bed. I was just like a stick in bed, kind of.
She had spent 3 weeks in the hospital. We really didn't think she was going to make it, and then a whole year in bed in a long-term care facility.
Edith and her husband have been connected at the hip for 60 years, I think, and it just must have been heart-wrenching for them to be apart. When Matthew started here, his walking took so much energy. His legs were stiff and he was just kind of scraping each foot forward with these very small steps.
Since coming to Challenge Center, I felt like my goal was more like within reach.
I was able to stand and walk with someone holding me, but if they were to let go, I could stand unassisted for like 3 seconds, and then I'll just teeter and fall.
Early on in meeting Will, he had explained to me that he had learned how to paint with his mouth and had shown me some paintings that he had done with his mouth, and I knew it was really important to him.
And the first time I painted with my mouth, I was so frustrated. I was like mad at myself. I was angry because it was like a little kid did it.
We worked on his shoulders. We started with his shoulders and teaching him how to stop doing extra movements with his shoulders and how to start producing the right movements for the job that needed to be done.
When Edith first came in, she came in with Herman and Beverly. She was actually at an assisted living facility and wasn't at home with a hubby that she's been with for a very long time, which I think was really hard on Herman as well. And so she came in wanting to get out of there. She wanted to go home to be with her husband.
I came to the original interview and I remember the girls asking her what her goals were and her saying she wanted to walk. And I thought, you're nice girls, but don't give this poor woman false hope. You know, don't give her something that's impossible to dream of. I really felt that way.
When Matthew started here, we literally could not have him stand with one leg straight and one leg bent, which is kind of important for walking.
Her knowledge in how the body functions and what it needs to get results where he needed them was very different than other therapists I've spoken to. It wasn't just he needs to get on his feet. It was we need to have the brain re-talk to the muscles about what we're tightening, what we're relaxing when to get his gait more efficient.
The best way that I would describe the way that they push you here is encouragement and understanding of potential.
For Edith, her sense of vertical does not match gravity, and so she was just terrified.
My balance is not perfect yet, and they always work on me. for that, but in a nice way.
You know, at Challenge Center, the client is the customer. It's about what's meaningful to them and what's going to make a difference in their life. We don't have an insurance company to answer to. Our goal is to maximize everyone's functional independence and maximize their health. You see any differences in this kid?
And this summer was finally, I want to try walking on the beach, and I was like 20 steps on the beach with holding on to my dad, and that was a really great moment. Like, I feel this kind of transitioning into my walking into like a workable, I can use it. Like, it's not something I just, okay, I can walk to, and I still rely on my chair, but I was like, okay, I can like walk out to the water a little bit.
Very recently, I started practicing painting with my hands again. This is my passion, you know, and like now that going through Challenge Gym and me being able to get back to my passion it's really given my life back to being able to do what I want to do.
Edith told me, they really want you to come to my next appointment. And I said, okay. And she said, they want to give you some exercises for you to help me with at home. So they were really setting me up too, because I figured that makes sense. And I got here and they had her get up and walk with the walker. I just couldn't believe it. I just thought I'd never see that day. I told them, you're miracle workers, you're angels. I can't believe that that's happening.
The first time I walked in with a walker, they all clapped.
Walking is like becoming more of part of my daily life. I'm like actually doing it to use it. I'll just transfer to whatever service I want. I can stand up, I can get onto service. And getting out of the chair, I almost feel this kind of barrier sometimes when I'm like in the chair, like I'm kind of separated a little bit. When I'm out, I'm just like sitting on a bench next to someone or something like that. Instead of sitting in my chair and they're on a bench, it feels a lot less like there's something in between.
I'm getting back to being myself. I can do many things that I would do prior to the injuries that I sustained, and now I'm getting back to doing them, and I'm actually getting back to doing them well, like painting or like taking care of myself.
Just after the new year, Edith got to finally move back home with Herman, and that was an incredible moment to share with her and Herman, because we knew how much it had meant to them. That's why they were coming to therapy, and she knocked it out of the park because she got to go home.
Since she came here, I was sure she will come home.
For most of our clients, they're financially decimated by whatever illness or tragedy brought them to this state. So when they come to us, insurance coverage is ended, they don't have that as an option, their bank accounts are gone, they need our help and they can't afford it. So the donors come in and save the day. It's not okay that a 17-year-old was left where he couldn't walk. It's not okay. It's not okay that an artist was left where he couldn't paint. That's not okay with us. It wasn't okay that a couple that's been together for 66 years was left where they couldn't be together. To me, that's not okay. And I feel very privileged that we get to help right those wrongs and bring those things back around and make them right again.